Guys, I need you to talk me out of buying another gas blowback rifle again. This video might even help people who are also in the same boat, who are also thinking about getting a gas blowback rifle. And I've thought of a few things that kind of turned me off from it, and some things that actually turned me on to the gas blowback rifle. So let's keep it positive. So maybe some reasons off the cuff of why you would want a gas blowback rifle. So first thing, they're fun. They're realistic. You can, the whole bolt carrier, maintenance, blowback, smoke coming out of the barrel, kind of, all that fun stuff. So realism is fantastic on gas blowbacks. And if you're that kind of airsoft player, yeah, man. And we're talking about gas blowback rifles, by the way, not gas blowback pistols. Those are like relatively cheap. You can buy them pretty quickly, but it's the rifles that are expensive. So yeah, they're cool. They're LARPy. And you're getting that full training experience or realistic experience, which from the gas blowbacks. And for content too, like not a lot of people use gas blowback. Just to see it in like videos, it's like, oh, that's so cool. Like a gas blowback is like in the like you can tell, like it's a gas blowback. It's kind of cool, right? It's cooler than watching like AEGs because the bolts moving, the sound of the gas blowback is so cool. There's just a lot that goes into it that I really really like. What else do I like about gas blowbacks? Really, the only thing that I really like, other than that, the cool factor is like the response. Like the trigger is really nice. It also, like when you're playing in CQB, since it's a physical trigger, you're gonna have the advantage at that. And the tracers look really cool on them, and there's just like, it's a whole fun factor, right? And it's also like super cool as a flex. Like if you're walking with a gas blowback, like, yo, check me out, it's just really cool. It's definitely a vanity, kind of one of those luxury car guns that you have that you kind of build out over time. You just have this really solid rifle. But that's all I can really think, other than just content piece for you guys and just a fun gun for me. Now, I think the issue here lies is the negatives about the gas blowback. And I've kind of thought here off the cuff again, I'm just no script. One is the cost, obviously. So if I were to keep it simple, let's do 100 yen equals $1, just for simplicity's sake. If I wanted to get a URG-I, for example, or a Mark 18, by Tokyo Marui, that's like 60,000 yen. So that's like $600, okay? Just for that. Magazines are like $50. So you buy 5 of those. So then that's, you're already at $800, right? And then you got to get an optic that's actually rated for gas blowback. So you got to get a proper one, like a Maverick or a Vector Optic, something like that. That's another $100. Then from there, I think you're pretty good. Maybe you can buy like a grip or something like that. But other than that, that's all you really need. The rest is just kind of you can build over time. That is already $900, so it's really expensive. The second thing would be the cost of gas. So you also have to buy gas, depending on how often you play. So usually back in the past when I had gas blowbacks, I'd go through maybe 2 game days would make me run through a whole bottle of gas. And the issue with that is that it adds up because gas here is really expensive. It's like $25, right? Just for the can of gas, and it's duster gas, so you can't really use it in the winter. No, in Japan, where I specifically make content for you guys, you can't get green gas, you can't get black gas, can't get any of that stuff. The only other option is CO2, and I think there is experimental CO2 magazines going around right now in Japan. It's either CO2 is like the all season, it's a lot better, but a lot of places don't even allow you to use CO2 rifles. They'll let you use handguns, but not rifles. So not a viable option to use a CO2 gas blowback rifle. So we're talking duster gas, which can perform in the winter really well. So that brings us to another point where you can only use it, if you're in a country with 4 seasons, you can only use it about 1/3 of the year outdoor. Indoor, most places will have magazine warmers, so you can kind of get away with it. But if you want to play with them in the winter, you'll have to like get magazine warmers on your person, all this kind of stuff. It gets really expensive. Yeah. So we're talking a lot of cost and a lot less time to use it, and it becomes more of a fun gun to use, not a gun that you would use all the time, like you just want to perform in Slaymans. But goddamn, it is cool in the video. I remember when I used to have the AKM and the Mark 18, I'd barely use them. I've only used them like maybe a handful of time of the year, especially in summer. But even then in the summer, it's too hot to play outside. Like I don't, so it's like I don't even end up using it. So they ended up being just indoor guns that I would use from time to time. But most of the time I found myself using either my MCX or one of these, the NGRS guns, which are the in-between on there. So that is kind of stopping me from going to a gas blowback because I have these. So I have the NGRS URGI. I also have a shorter upper for it. And I also have the AK NGRS and the MP5 NGRS. So they're electric blowback, they have the performance of an AG and a little bit of recoil, and they have bolt stop. So they have the same functions as a gas blowback for the most part, and they get the job done, and they're very, very consistent. And it kind of makes it hard to justify getting a gas blowback because I have these, and these are my go-tos. And I can throw these mags on the ground, no issue. They're pretty cheap to get to, so it's not an issue if I break them. And they also go with PTS mags, so they're able to easily, take different kinds of magazines. Meanwhile, gas blowbacks only have the one type, which is like the Stanags. So because I have these, it kind of makes it a little bit harder to justify getting a gas blowback. And it's just, I think it really is just one of those, I want something new, something fun to use, a training device, whatever it may be, that these just can do, but it's just not the same. Now, let's talk about the last benefit in theory, which is YouTube content. Now, I'm going to be real with you guys. The airsoft content culture, whatever on YouTube is not good, bro. Like, gun channels are getting crunched. Airsoft channels are getting suppressed. US Airsoft is talking about how they're trying to get rid of airsoft as a genre. And the ROI on it isn't practical, and it's never been practical. I used to have so many of these guns that I never ended up paying them off. Well, I used to pay them in cash, but it doesn't really matter. But like the investment didn't come back. So if I were to get a gas blowback rifle for you guys, I don't know, like if it's worth, because gas blowbacks actually get demonetized a lot more than my AEG ones. Lately the channel's been in good standing, but it's like, it doesn't seem worth it on an industry that is limited and or dying on YouTube. I heard airsoft's growing a lot in America right now, but it doesn't feel like, okay, I'll make my money back, and I'll buy it and I'll make my money back really quick. It doesn't really make sense in a content perspective other than vanity. Like, it's cool, it's for the boys, it would be cool, like maybe if you guys like all became channel members and I had enough money and you just watch the videos to like buy it, then yeah, maybe it would make sense. But there's a lot of suppressed content, and the environment for airsoft content is kind of so that is the issue when it comes to thinking about justifying the purchase for a gas blowback rifle. But damn, it is so cool. I'm so tempted to just go to the store, hold it in my hands and say, fuck it, I want to buy it. But I need to kind of hold fast on that. Maybe I'll just start with the rifle. I don't know, and just kind of see how it goes from there. But I can already imagine the fun videos that I would make for you guys and be like, bam, I love that gas blowback. And, at this point in this channel, I know there's like a small core of you guys that just love this. And as a content piece, it might be cool, like, to do different kinds of tutorials and videos and training exercises and all these kind of stuff. It's cool to have that one gas rifle to kind of demonstrate differences and make evergreen videos about like, oh, should you get an AEG or gas rifle, that kind of stuff. So, but I remember making a bunch of videos talking about how I regretted getting a gas rifle. I mean, back in the day, I was making a little bit more money, so it was a little bit easier to make and buy stuff. But this time, I'm not really making that much. But anyways, yeah, I think it would be cool, and I wanted to get your guys' thought on it. Was that something that you guys would truly, really want? Because if I could justify it and be like, yo, you guys really want to see gas rifle stuff, then I probably could justify it for the boys. It's not even like a money thing. It's just for the boys, and I know you guys would enjoy it. And it would also be cool for me too. But it's just a cost thing. It's just so expensive, and I know that I'll be suffering for another 2 months if I had to get that thing. But okay, let's assume that I get the gas blowback rifle. I had a couple options in mind, okay? So one is the Tokyo Marui Mark 18 gas blowback rifle. We had this one before. It's a classic gun. It's super cool. And the only reason I wouldn't get it is because one, I've had it before, and two, you can't upgrade it really because of the proprietary handguard. You have to get a special tool to take it off just to change the hop rubber. You know what I mean? So it's really annoying, and it's not very practical. But that, oh man, that Daniel Defense rail is so sexy. I would think about that. The second one would be obviously the URGI 11.5 SBR, and that is basically this. Basically the exact same gun, but in gas form. Well, this is the 14-inch, but a slightly shorter version of that. Very versatile, and it would be really cool. Now, the only reason I wouldn't get that is because I already have a URGI. So it's kind of like, do I really want to get the same one? Maybe I can spray paint it and paint it black, or do an olive drab or something like that. That might be something we could do. And apparently it's more upgradable. I just talked to my tech, and he said it's a little bit more upgradable than the other one. So you could change out the bolts for something faster. You can do all that kind of stuff and make it actually viable, which is a little fun part about gas guns, is that you can change out different parts to, you know, make it perform better, which is really cool. The other one was the AKX. I was thinking about that. The gun is really cool, but to be honest with you, I like the Storm because you can't do, with the AKX or gas guns, you can't do the like, you can't do that, you know, like you're gonna damage the magazines. And I like that I could just throw these things around. The only thing I don't like about the Storm is that it has really bad semi-auto, and it does lock up a lot, so you can't really shoot it fast. But the full auto on that thing is super fun to use. I love using this thing, and I basically finished building it out. We'll have a review on that later, but yeah, I don't know. Like, I barely used my AK when I've had it with all the, you know, the Aaron Smith SAG stuff that I used to have on it from Devil 6, and I barely ever used it. So yeah, that's kind of the issue there. So don't have that. MP5, I don't want to get a VFC MP5. They're just so expensive in Japan, and they're not practical. And I have the NGRS one, which is, you can slap that thing and throw the mags around, do all that kind of fun stuff. The other option was the Type 89, just because it's exclusive to Japan, and it is like the, you know, it's super cool. I didn't like it though, because it's like a 20-inch rifle, or an 18-inch rifle, 16, whatever. It's really long. Can't use it in CQB. Can't use it anywhere. We talked about the issues before on it. Creaky handguard, creaky, whatever the heck, creaky stock, magazines that break the freaking nozzle. Remember that? Not a fun time. So that was purely collector's item. That was like the first one I got rid of when I was getting rid of my collection. The second last one would be, I guess, the Saiga. It's cool. I'm not a fan of it. And it's also like probably banned in most places because semi-auto 3-burst whatever rifles are like usually not allowed. So it's not worth getting. It's a fun plinking gun, but it's not worth getting because you'll never be able to use it. And then the MP7, the creaky little 10% smaller MP7. I've had one before. The full auto sear broke on it, and it's okay. Magazines are really leaky, but it was really nice to use because it's so tiny, so small, and you can really use it anywhere. And that was a really cool, unique gun to use, but I never really liked the MP7 that much. I'd much rather have a rifle. Plus you have an MP5. And I remember my philosophy for my Airsoft collection before was having kind of one of everything. And I don't know if I want to do that this time. Like, I don't want to like make the same mistake I did last time, but buy a whole bunch of stuff. But I am looking at a breacher again. The breacher, like a shotgun, would be really cool to use, but again, shotguns, you don't really use them much either. I also kind of want to get a bolt action rifle again. But again, I'm not really playing Airsoft as much as I used to. Purely, it's just kind of like a fun thing for the boys. But if I'm thinking of just getting an AR and just like leaving it at that, and maybe like spray painting it a different color or something like that, making it black, or olive drab would be cool, I think. But it is like a tan gun. It would basically be this, you know, but it's just a gas version. So I don't know. I could also, if I wanted a Mark 18 again, I could just get the upper for the NGRS for this, and I have a Mark 18 that's fully ready to go too. So it's kind of like, you know, I'm in a weird spot. So that's why I wanted to kind of ask you guys what I should do, or what do you think is the most practical? Are you going to be the enabler, or are you going to be the smart one? Last thing is that there is a clock, because in October 1st or something like that, the prices for all like Tokyo Marui guns are going to go up again because of inflation and the weak yen. So you can probably see a 10% increase. So that $600 tag might go up to $700. So I don't really have time to think about it. And if I wanted to use my gas rifle, I would have to like buy it today and then like use it and then like just kind of use the shit out of it. And that might be a thing. But it is pretty pricey. But then again, I'm the same guy who just got a $5,500 MacBook Pro, which actually I've been using for content and stuff. So it's actually been the workhorse of this entire thing. But anyways, yeah, if there's anybody else going through this, let me know in the comment section down below what you're thinking, because this is a dilemma. Let me know, guys, help me out. And if you want to see more Airsoft videos, click this right here, and I'll see you next time.